Welcome to Caribbean Brilliance, where we highlight the contributions of Caribbean Americans in hopes that their story will inspire and empower the present and future generation. I am your host, the multi-talented and super sexy Miss Francois, and today I'm joined by an equally multi-talented and super sexy individual. Tell them your name before I butcher it.
Sanika Nikki.
Let me tell you, she have these things here I had to look up the dictionary for. So she is the founder and host of a podcast called How Do You Divine? She's a strategist. Oh God, did I say that word right? Because you know my eyes are Trini. I go mess it up, right? And a transformational architect. I'm gonna have to ask her, what the hell is that? What is that, ma'am? Is that just a fancy word to make people get confused?
No, transformational architect helps organizations move from their current software stack to their software stack that they need in order to achieve their goals.
Okay, so she told us nothing.
Okay.
So we just know she do a lot of things and the thing to help the thing.
Yes.
So that's good. So where are you from, my dear?
Jamaica, Jamaica.
And you know what? Anytime, Jamaica is known basically every Caribbean person people call Jamaican.
Because we're up on top. We're number one.
Or just most of y'all just got, run away from your country and ended up here, right?
Tomatoes.
So when people, for Caribbean people, everybody, when people think of Jamaicans, what is number one thing people think about or what they associate with Jamaica or Jamaicans?
Prideful, creative, beautiful. Anything else? Should I continue?
Honestly, I don't get none of that. I get weed. That's what I get. Weed and Rastaman. I don't know what you're talking about.
We've evolved. We don't take on old people things.
Okay.
We've evolved as a community. Just saying. We've evolved.
Okay, so I see we're going to be going through this whole thing where you using patois and then we come back to the American. Okay, all right. We're going to mix up with it and we're going to learn from her, right? So before we move forward, I wanted to get like a little background. You being Jamaican, I know coming up here when you're like 3 years old, but give us a little background. Because when I hear you talk, you sound like when you were 3 years old. Yes, tree as a tree outside, whatever. You sound like you were so aware at 3. So tell us a little about that.
So I came to America when I was 3, but we were very much like one of those children where if school ends on Monday, by Tuesday, we're back in Jamaica for the entire summer for the majority of my childhood. And then I actually went back to Jamaica and started high school.
So how many years you
I was only there for that year, for that 1 year of high school, and then came back to America. Oh. So people assume that like, oh, you left at 3, you're not really Jamaican. I'm like, yeah, all right. If I say, you say.
Okay, so that makes more sense. Because anytime you say you left that 3, I'm like, why? So why?
Because I didn't live there anymore.
Okay, but you did the back and forth. Okay, that's cool. That's nice. Now I have a better understanding. So when you came here, tell people what was your experience. Because I thought this was like, to me, life-changing, life-shifting, because everybody have a different experience when they come here.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's not positive. So tell the people all about you coming to this wonderful place called America.
I agree. So when I came here, I was definitely shell-shocked, culture shock, even at a very young age. I've always been super observant. So when I first came here, I actually thought, America wasn't full of bright people, let's just say that. Because people would look at me and be like, you can't be Jamaican. You don't look Jamaican. And I'm like, this is me as a child. I'd be like, what does a Jamaican look like? Because again, in Jamaica, at this point, I was in primary school. I have a very big family. My father is one of 11. My mother's the oldest of 8. We all look like a lot of different things. We can't say that is a Jamaican. All right. So I was very taken aback to say when I first got here because I was accustomed to a sense of community and unity in Jamaica that I didn't necessarily find when I first got here. It was very...
We're going to tell the story about when they call you in school now. They see all this kind of talking. Tell me what you think when they tell you in school. How they were approaching you in school.
Oh, yeah. They would tell me I'm white. They was like, you're a white girl. And I'd be like, excuse me? Hold me for white. And I was like, you mean I'm fair-skinned? Mm-hmm. And they're like, no, you're white. Like, which one of your parents is white? And I was like, whoa. Una na read and I know us. Them na read, I watch TV and I hear us. Yikes. So it was very shocking to me. So I remember very vividly, ready to go back to Jamaica because my grandmother quite literally is way lighter than me.
Yeah.
And I went to her and I was like, oh, ready for her to tell them about them clothes and, you know? And she said, it definitely changed the way I see the world. She said to me, Sanika, why are you angry? Feel sorry for them. And I feel like till this day, remembering that story, I still feel like a sense of deep wisdom. She was like, you should feel sorry for people when they're ignorant.
You should have empathy.
Yes, she told me to be empathetic to people who don't have the knowledge or the community in which you had. They don't know any better. So be empathetic. Don't be angry.
So are you still, what your grandmother said all those years ago, do you still use that or?
100%. 100%. Now ignorance is like, oh, okay, cool. So what do you read? That's where I start.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Grandmother would be proud?
Yes, very, because I'm very kind about it. But I just also feel like as a global community, we need to understand that perspective and reality are two different things. And what you believe some nation or some Caribbean person should look like, what they should talk like, what they should appear as, is your niched view of what that is. Don't approach the world as if I know what everyone from Europe should talk like.
Sure. Be more open-minded. At least ask questions. You know, understand, have conversations instead of just making assumptions. And a lot of us just makes assumptions, right? But since you went back and forth to Jamaica, like what are one of your fondest memories in Jamaica?
So many. Like, that's still home. I always say, like, I don't live there, but that's still very much home.
Yeah.
Like, when I land in Sangsta's airport, my entire nervous system, like, changes. That is home. Like, I go to my grandmother's house, and we were from the country.
Yeah.
Like, Paliti country, and then a summertime, and then my father live now, we all over the place. But to me, going home, being barefoot, eating my manga, look a sweet sap, sit down and relax off. Talk to my people and them.
Yes.
That's a good time.
Beautiful. But before we even go past that, I want to discuss this whole look. If anybody look you up, right? Everything is just about fashion. It's about the hair, the makeup. You have some good skin, girl.
Thanks.
Like, seriously. So how long does it always take to put you together? And is that a natural fashion sense? Because people looking at you, first of all, like, she Jamaican, she had the pink wig and the green wig.
I have on the gold and the shimmer up on the side. No.
But is the fashion something you love doing?
Yes.
Because it shows in every aspect of everything you post.
Thank you. But I genuinely, it stems from not having a lot. It's funny enough. Because growing up here in New York, let's just say we didn't have as much in my mind as we did in Jamaica.
Yeah.
So my mother would shop at the thrift stores, what do they call it? Salvation Army and all these places.
Check me, I've heard of it.
Listen. And for me, it was always being neat and clean. So you can give me anything and I can cut it up. I'll make it into something that looks like me. I just always want to be me. So for me, there's no way of me like leaving, even in my house, to be honest. My husband's always like, he's accustomed to it now because we've been together forever, but I like to wake up and be me.
Oh, so many people hate you right now.
I know. They must say, girl, me love me banana cheese. What you mean? What you mean about that? You're mad? But really and truthfully, so I love sweets. I love cakes, cookies, and cocktails. That's what I save my calories for, really and truly. Yeah. But I am very mindful of my water consumption. I drink over a gallon of water a day.
So now I know your fashion, your skin routine. Okay. Jamaica, your grandmother, empathy. So let's get into your podcast. Let's get into you being a serial entrepreneur. You do a lot, right? List some things like you as a serial entrepreneur. What is that? And name some of the things you have dabbled in or have done, succeeded, left it, start something new.
Oh, that's a long question. I would always say in corporate America, I work in technology, I work in software. So I always like to simplify things because I work in technology and work with highly complex softwares. It's important to me that it's simplified so everyone can understand. There's an aspect of technology that's hardware, and there's an aspect that's software. I specialize in software for large organizations. So that's that. In terms of me as like an serial entrepreneur, I've done everything from creative design to graphic design, my own podcast, media buying and directing, building out my own networks and ecosystems. It goes on and on.
Wow. Wonder, did you just tell me something? I'm not sure. But so with all that, how do we go through all these things and you say, I think I'll just do a podcast? Is something, because I know you said you intern. I mean, let the people know you're not no smaller.
Listen, I ain't no regular. But don't tell people nothing about me regular. Yes.
But like before, this is something like podcasting or radio or TV has always been in you. So tell people a little about that.
Yes, so I started when I was a teenager interning at one of the biggest radio stations here in New York, Hot
Go
97.
Ahead. Say it again.
Yeah. I was interning at Hot 97. And at the time, it was like, all hip hop focused and things like that. Even during that time, which was 14 years ago, people were like, you should have your own show. I had my own show when I was going to school at LIU. So I had my own little, college radio show, tell people what I want music if you listen to, because I love music. Yeah. So over time, I realized like I've guest hosted on a number of different shows. I've always loved audio as a medium. There's something about audio that I genuinely feel like helps resonate deeper with the brain, because there's a level of focus that you have to be locked into versus like visual things. So now seeing podcasts emerge into visual is kind of interesting to me, but I've always loved audio. So I initially started like the concept of my podcast, over 10 years ago, but I was like, it was going to be like reggae focused and all of that. And then I kind of put it down. I'm very good at capacity. Like I'm married.
Too much. Like
knowing when it's
knowing what to focus on.
Exactly.
Okay.
Over time, I've learned very much a lot about capacity.
So the husband said he was going to leave you, so you end up.
Oh no,
having to
babe.
focus.
Listen, he couldn't leave even if he tried to walk. Like he's obsessed for a good reason, as you can tell.
So you focus on family and you put that to the side.
Yes.
Were you okay with doing that?
Yes, because like I have 2 daughters. To me, it's very important that I raise women that are strong in the world. Like, so even when my kids were really young, I was like, I didn't like baby talk. I mean, them sitting there. Like, my kids was actually like, I still had the encyclopedia in my O's. Like, I don't play about those type of things. I feel like the world requires solid human beings, period. So to me, like, again, going back to capacity, it was always important that, hey, if anything is messing with my capacity where I can't sit down with my daughters at, the end of the night and hear them ramble about their day and be like, well, should you be saying that? Would you like if somebody said that to you? Like, if I couldn't challenge them to critically think and be engaged in their life, then I may have a capacity problem. I may have to put something down and focus on that. Now my daughters are older, so I have more capacity.
How old are they?
17 and 13.
Oh, they old.
Yes, big people. Them not so big yet, though. They're not big one, but them big people. Yeah.
So you put it to the side, and when did you decide, okay, I want to start this podcast, and now it's time to focus on something else that I want to do?
I want to say right before COVID. Right before COVID, it was clear to me that like I really wanted to carve out this conversation. And it was really around me noticing that people couldn't have regular discourse with disagreeing and move forward in a positive way. Like we lost the plot in my mind where I know enough people where me and PNP, me and JP, and you could disagree politics on whatever, but still say, you know what, you're a good person. We disagree upon this, but we can move forward. And I kept noticing that there was like this deep break in all of these conversations, both on the news and even in like social commentary, where there was no longer space for me to disagree with you, also feel like you're a good person and move forward in a positive way. And I just kept muddling with the idea of like, how do I make this conversation simple enough to be accessible, right? Because people often think that conversations that have any type of intellectual depth or is like, Lord God, she asked me to pull out the Webster's dictionary. She asked me for essay. Like, no. Like,
But all that stuff you just said, but how you came up with it and how do you divine?
because it was supposed to do just that. Spark curiosity in the mind of the listener.
Okay, I see it now.
Do you see it now, right? So it's supposed to spark curiosity in the listener so that when you press play, you're trying to come to the show wondering how can you redefine love? How can you redefine success? Because in our minds and our experiences, those have hard definitions. But having the conversation with someone, you realize that your actual definition of love changed when you was 20, when you was 30. After that divorce, love evolves in definition. So if your definition in love can evolve, how are you so upset at the person sitting across from you that has a different definition when your own definition have changed? Isn't that a way in which we should be united? And you teach me a little?
Why the hell is this so deep all of a sudden?
Exactly.
Okay, my God. Okay. First of all, you see all this fancy talk you doing. What you went to school? Did you went to school and study media and all
Marketing and communications, and then I pivoted into data analytics because I also love numbers. Like I am a data nerd.
So basically, I guess that I should ask what it is you don't do. So what is some things you don't do?
Anything related to hard labor.
Okay.
Straight. So anything. If you ask me to lift up something, move something, push something, not me. Wrong person.
Okay, good. Some things you don't do. So when you come to doing your show, like how do you find your guests? Or what is it's a design? You have a certain niche that you want certain people to listen to it, a certain age group.
No, I intentionally didn't want to niche down initially during the podcast revolution. And that's like something else that I want people to be like open for, right? The beauty of, to me, I see ideas like organisms. They're supposed to breathe, extract, come back in, find its rhythm as it goes on. Like ideally, you're supposed to learn as you fail. So I find my guests initially based on their story. Like I want your unique definition of this word. Like I've talked to everyone from CEOs to doctors to authors who had humble beginnings and didn't understand that, what I was doing was altering my definition of pivot, of bending, of different words. Because often we think like these concepts are so grand.
Yeah.
And they require like, me need to sit on a Sunday morning with tea and biscuits and sit down and take it in. A little 30-minute conversation. It's not that deep. It's not that deep. The goal is for you to press play, and at the end of the conversation, it leaves you questioning your own definition. And what can you implement in that day to expand that definition? Is it changing it? Is it reinforcing your definition? And just take that little seed and spread it in the world.
Well, what kind of seed? Now, you're Jamaican, so I know man spread lots of seeds. So I just want to refocus to make sure. With all how many episodes have you done? I know how many seasons?
I think we're at 50 now, 3 seasons, because I took conscious breaks throughout each season to make it a different theme and a different conversation. To me, like it's part of the evolution, right? The first time I started the podcast, it was all audio on my kitchen table.
Okay.
I was like, listen, come back with define. What is a woman? How you define woman? Because me define it different. Talk.
All right.
But
okay. And
then it evolves. And then I did more like studio talk show like. And then I did more guests so that people could kind of understand the evolution of everyone's journey. And season 4 is going to be totally different. Coming in August.
And before we even talk about season 4, in all the episodes you've done that far, is there any particular episode like jumps out to you that was memorable? Like, oh, I love this. What besides mine?
I was just going to say, is this the
Besides
part where I
mine.
talked about your episode?
My God.
I loved our episode because I feel like our episode was just another layer of why the heart of the podcast is different. It showed what Caribbean is, the variety.
I get a little cuss out, right?
Yeah.
I get a little cuss out.
Listen, sometimes I say go with cuss out. I rally back and say, come on, you want a little tea? All right, that's how it go. But I loved it because it helped expand people's definition of what Caribbean women discourse can look like.
Yeah.
We can disagree and then we agree again and we're still good friends.
Yeah.
We are going to party later. Like it's still okay.
Yeah.
But then I also have similar conversations with like doctors who've gone through so much for their dissertations to practice and do all of these things. And the subconscious, I always say, mission of the podcast is to show people you can be many things. Like who said you have to just me have to sit on here and speak in my good English? Or who said? I follow my own rules.
So I want to ask you this question, because when someone hears you, listens and look at you, you look like you have everything together.
Ugh.
So what is something you would say you got wrong? Not necessarily regret, but you got wrong. You took responsibility, now we're moving forward.
I can be impulsive. That's definitely something I get wrong. Which is like, thank God for my husband, Jaja no. Like he is more conservative and even keel. I am more like he's ambitious, but he is more strategic and you know, I have to make sure everything all right. And I'm more boom, I want to do this. Boom, we're gonna do it. Boom, 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 boom. Like that's so I feel like I have learned over the years to slow down.
Okay.
Slow down. Like, and it's interesting because I don't rush thinking I'm gonna miss anything. Because I am very much like, what God have for me, nobody can take for me. Nobody is me. So your name not depend it. So me all right. Like, go, do that thing.
And in that same sense of the word, what it is you think you got right?
Just showing up authentically as me. Like, I often talk to a lot of people and they're always telling me like, "See, you're so brave." And I'm like, for what? What make me brave? You know, I just try every make a muck. What you mean? And they're like, but you just like show up as you, as all time. Like, you don't conform. And I was like, but I do. You just don't notice its conformity because I slow down. I say less. Like, and honestly, it's things that I've just learned over the years. Not everybody deserve all of me.
Yes.
Right. Like, you can't get like a sprinkle every now and then, but you don't deserve all of me. So I feel like what a lot of people enjoy is that if you call Sanika, I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna be me in the boardroom. I'm gonna be me at the barbecue.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be me. If you call me and say, girl, lad, life tough. I say, me too. It hard, man.
Well, so one thing you had said in one of your segments that when you just rambling was unfiltered or something like that, about like your 9 to 5 doesn't, because a lot of people when they have a 9 to 5 and now they're doing something on the side, sometimes it could be like conflicting, but you said they could coexist. Is that, you think that's for a lot of other people or that's just for you?
No, I think it's for a lot of other people. I think often fear holds us back from taking the leap. So it's easy for me to say, you know what? I'm not going to prop up that phone and show my outfit today because I don't want the principal to see it at the school and get me in problems. I don't want my boss to see it. Oh, what's wrong with your outfit? You're outside in your panty. Why would your boss feel mad about you show and say, yeah, I put that shit on today? Sometimes it's more of us overthinking that there would be consequences when what is there consequential about what you're doing? Do you understand what I mean? Like, and I work in very big corporate rooms and I just know who I am. I'm never going to be on anybody's platform cursing somebody out. Like, that's just not, I'm not a gossipy person. I'm very old school. If never problem with you, I come to your yard. Hey, girl, me and you.
Don't worry, we'll have caption for what she just said, okay? Because I don't know what she said, but I'm sure caption, that'll work. With that being said, I wanted to present you with this token of our show, but let me read what it says. It says, celebrating Caribbean Brilliance. Thank you for your impact you make every day with appreciation, Miss Francois.
Aw, thank you. You know, I love my ginger tea. This is nice. It's real nice. Thank you.
I just wanted to say, I wanted to shout out the Corey Shepherd podcast. See, boy, may have your bottle. See, I representing. Those I don't do nothing for you, you know. Anyway, love that show. You also definitely check it out. Now, with that being said, I wanted to definitely go back to what are you working on right now? Because I know you have like a series coming up. I just wanted to talk a little about that.
Yes. Well, I have multiple series. I want to say.
All right.
Season 4 of the How Do You Divine podcast is coming out in August. I currently have a series running right now on Instagram called Wagwan. You give me your situation. I give you my insight, not advice, because we're all figuring it out together.
Yes.
Where I've gotten so many submissions, and my goal was to read the submissions live so I can have natural reactions. But now I feel bad because it's all backed up. But different series coming out. The podcast Wind Up is going to start like in weeks. So I'm really, really excited about that. And so much more to come this year, but those are my focal points for the season.
I always want to leave something with like the viewers or someone in Jamaica running barefoot in the road and they see this and they're like, oh my God, I could never do that, right? Because some people might also look at you and be like, okay, well, you have the technical, the background, the marketing, that the podcast was easy for you to do. So if someone have none of that, and they want to do a podcast, they're in Jamaica right now. They just wipe off their foot on the mat and they walk inside. What is something you can tell them to help them to start on their journey on podcasting?
Oh, access. We all have access. It's so funny that you say that. Now, sitting here, I'm big age. Yes, it looks like that. But I learned how to navigate software, how to build podcasts, all of that in the Brooklyn Public Library.
Wow.
For free. I spent a lot of my time in the Brooklyn Public Library, okay? Reading, spending, back in the days, it was $0.25 per hour, giving them my little quarters that I would save up for the week to sit on the one of 3 computers that was even in the neighborhood, much less,
Wow.
and taught myself. I feel like despite resources, we really have to realize that with our phones, we have now so much access that we never had before. And I'm someone who, again, was raised in encyclopedia days, where it was just the library.
I don't know, I wasn't born yet, but go ahead.
That's why you're young. But it's important for us to understand that just the way we access social media for laugh and send a friend a 2 joke, access it for the things that pique your interest. If you say, boy, you know, I really like fashion designing, how me cut that and seam that up? Look it up.
Yeah.
Like, the only person holding you back is yourself, telling yourself, why, I'm too old, or I don't know enough, or I can't read enough. The same way how your friend send you the one video, and you say, no, that remind me of da-da-da. Same place, just type it in. How you build this?
Yeah.
How you podcast?
Well,
how you do
honestly,
this?
we have no excuses, right?
And it's not about excuses, because I feel like sometimes that holds us back.
Yeah.
The guilt of why, you know, I tell this to my daughters all the time. Time, God no wait for people. Time no wait for people. So despite what you do for the next month, the next month is going to come. And God willing, you'll be on that other side of those 30 days. But if you care about something, why not bet on yourself to learn it for 30 days? Explore it for 30 days. And if you fail, good for you, because you were brave enough to actually look into it.
Right. Okay, I'm waiting for like the series, the book, how to do this, like, how do I divine, you can divine too. But with that being said, tell the people where they can connect with you, where they can reach you, where they can put in their submission to Wagwan.
Yes, you can find me on all platforms at Sanika Nikki. The podcast is How Do You Divine? That's DIVINE. On YouTube, all platforms, and you can find us there, both on our website at How Do You Divine and Sanika Nikki on all platforms.
Wonderful. I just want to thank everyone for watching. As always, I'm your amazing host. You can find me on all the significant social media. And with that said, until we lime again.